Okay, so I've just lifted the end plate on. It's not done up. All the bolts are just still loose. They're just in there finger tight at the moment. Cam bearings are just using the front cam bearings to line up to make sure the gasket's not over the hole. Dummy hub as well, get it lined up with the bolt hole. Before I tighten this up, I'll actually take it out and put some sealant under the head of the bolt, because sometimes it'll build up oil behind here and then it'll weep out these bolts. So we'll seal them as well, and I'll do the same with the idler gear bolt. So I've just got 515 behind that, between the block and the gasket. Not heaps, but just just a nice smear. And I've also got the crank gear here lined up, ready to go back on. I can see the witness marks where the balance holes were. They're in the back of the gear here. I'm sliding off on the back there. So you can just maybe see them in the bottom there. So, but it will only go on in one spot. So you can't cock it up. So I'll line that up. Grab the plastic mallet in a minute and give that a tap on. Drive that on, and then I'll tension the bolts up. Crankshaft. Crankshaft. Yeah, it's not going to have a... so there's the end plate bolts, so the 381s, they're 25 to 30. Oh, aluminium engine, cast iron engine, same, so 25 to 30. See, aluminium block, cast iron block. But crankshaft, crankshaft gear. There's no crankshaft. Might go back in the book and have a look, because there's nothing there. I'm pretty sure they're 35 to 40. I shall come back, because otherwise it's a standard nut and bolt torque. Can't see anything. Where is it? Anyway, I'll have a look. Definitely can't see it there. Anyway, we'll have a look. Okay, so I found it. It's in the crankshaft gear department. There it is there, 35 to 39 foot-pounds. So then we'll do that. I'll get that on, tension that up. Using my little, whatever it's called, snap-on tension wrench. So we'll do all the other ones first, do all the end plate. And then 30 foot-pound. So 30 foot-pound for all the... Oh, oops. Oh, it's all right, I just locked it again. So I'll spin them in my hand. Oh my God. These two outer ones, what's going on there? It's not tight, it's just on finger tight, maybe glue on the thread. I don't use a zippy gun or anything for doing engines. I just don't trust them. And you can get to the torque before you know it, and then it's all over. My idler gear's a 90 foot-pound. Okay. So if anyone finds a GoPro and a bracket, they've gone walkabout. Oh, I don't know. I can't find them anywhere. Can't find them on the boat. I don't know if I've left them somewhere and someone's liked them better than I did out of the car, or maybe, or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, okay. So this thing will beep and vibrate when it's ready. You can see it doesn't take much to go over the 30 foot-pound. Like that was, oh, it's nearly spot on, but one before was 31. Now I'm doing it perfectly again. Anyway, so you can see a little. All right. So, and then also these little patch bolts for this crankshaft, you should have the international compound on them. So I'll fat them up and then we'll chuck them in. I'm just going to wind it on now. That's nice and even. You can see it's just popping on pretty easy. It doesn't take much. Only a tiny little bit of interference to push it on. Probably actually won't do these up yet till I put the idler gear in. I can stick a bit of rag in there and jam the gear train and tension it properly without having to try and hold it. Well done, Adrian. How's that for a bit of a camera roll? It's getting back to the old days. Bad camera. Anyway, so I'll nip these up and I'll get the idler hub on. It's 90. It goes on at 90 foot-pound and we've got to time it. So on here, on the gear here. Where is he? There he is. Advanced retard. I know my filming is a bit retarded, but yes. So we'll set this at advanced timing because it's naturally aspirated, and it'll bring it up a little bit in the horsepower. So yeah, all right. I was nice and grab it while I'm here. I have to do the idler gear bolts as well, so pretty important that there lines up with that hole there. That one there, that's oil feed to the idler gear. So it should be so it should be this R. So the R and the R match up, and then move the R over to the A, so now I've got it advanced. So then I'll line up that should, whoopsie, that one there. Still lined up. Alright, so that's right there. Whoops, no, I moved it again. There it is there. Alright, so I'm going to put a bolt in there and then I'll spin the hub a bit and line up the oil feed. Okay, so I've got tension wrench set at 39. So just a piece of rag just down there, can't hurt the gears. Nip it up a bit there. Oh, it didn't take long, did it? going opposite. Keep it even. Just double check that one. If you can do move. Get on there. Okay, so and then these ones here are 29.5 inch head. Around the idler gear here, so they're 29. So I'll swap that over and do them. Oh, there goes my rag. Just going the wrong way. I'll put the rag back in the other side now. I should just pull up into the gear train like that. That'll stop him. Doesn't feel nice, but there we go. I'll do that one and doing the opposite again. Alrighty. And there's the top two. Alright, now just our centre one at 90. Oh. Alright, I'll just flip this socket off. So I've made sure that it's all sitting in flush at the back, so it's not the oil feeds all the way in. So yeah, so now we'll just tension him up. There we go. On it's 89.3. We go. Wow, 89.9, I'm pretty happy with that. So there's a little bit of sealant in there around the washer and the bolt, just to make sure the oil comes up it. And then when these bolts go through, they'll also have a sealant on them. They do occasionally track out into the housing and create an oil leak, so it makes for a mess. So yeah, I've got the dummy hub on now. Then we'll get some camshafts ready to slip in and a balance shaft. Okay, so I've slipped the camshaft in. When I turn the engine over, I'll show you the camshaft. It's all been lineage and everything. It just got carried away this morning. So we've done the timing. So we're 00 on the camshaft gears, which is correct. RR on the idler gear to the balance shaft gear on this engine. This could be camshaft here, idler gear, balance shaft here, but this engine is camshaft there. Oh, I can't get the words out this morning. I don't know, I think I need to go and see someone about this. Balance shaft there, so So if this was left-hand rotation, the idler gear would also be on the opposite side. So that's another scenario. This is the book, just showing you. So it explains there the RB, RA, RARB for the camshafts. Like, so if it turned around, actually end for end the camshaft, if you're going to put it on the other side. But then there's also another camshaft if you're going to put blower. If you're going to, rotate left rotation. So so there's your layout for the gear train. There's your blower drive gear, which will go in here. So that'll go in there. That's all. I haven't tensioned the bolts up. They're 30 foot-pound, so probably don't need to watch me tighten 6 bolts, but not very exciting. So I'll get all that on, and next I'll drag out the flywheel housing. On with the flywheel housing, hopefully. I might move the block on the trolley. I might move him forward a bit on the trolley before I do that, and then get the flywheel housing on, and then I'll stand him up. And probably either swap the 692 in the corner there, trolley, and put it in my little stand there. My book. Poor little book. Anyway, and these poor little 453s that have sat here for months, paid for them, and he just hasn't collected them. So anyway, they look really pretty, but they're just giving me the business. Okay, so these are the front cam bearings. Well, that's the camshaft bearing, this one. Both the same. That's the one for the balance shaft. So you can see I've emery cloth both. Just sometimes when they're in the tin with the nuts and bolts that get washed, get little dings in them or something. Sometimes they're pretty good, really no marks, as you can see, except for one on the edge there where either the socket or something at some points hit it, but this one's copped the same. But they're both pretty good. So I'll put them in with some black slippery stuff in the bearing, push them in dry bearings so I can check the infloat, and then once I'll flip it over, then I'll get the oil can, squirt on the thrust washers once I know we've got the right amount of infloat. We'll go from there. Alright, so next this is the counterweights, balance weights that go on the front. So sort of tap them on, put the nut on, they've got to be tightened to 300 foot-pound. So I've got the gear just held back there, just to stop it floating back because it wants to float back. They shouldn't take too much to tap on. Normally they don't. Like so. And this one's going to make a liar out of me. Anyway, that's all right. Here we go. Squared him up. Oh. Nice hand, Adrian. Sorry. Squared him up. Bingo. So international compound on those threads and 300 foot-pound. Usually put a block of wood between the weights, let them swing together. Put a block of wood in there and you can tension them up. I just put some peanut butter on. You can see a little bit there on the edge there. So I'm just winding these on, put the block in there, just to stop the two going together. You can actually see it's pulling the camshaft through. Nice and firm. Nipped this one a minute ago. I don't think. Now I've got to put the block the other way, dickhead. So block the other way, just pull the last little bit in. Okay, so now tension these up 300 foot-pound and everything will be nice. It's a bit hard to hold the phone and swing the big wrench, so but you can understand what's got to happen next. So the idler gear backlash is 3 to 8 thou, no more than 10. Oh, all the gear backlash, sorry. So we've got, this one we've got 1, 2, 2.5, that's all right. It's probably 3 there if I give it a good dingle dingle. So I'll go around and check the rest of them. Just a magnetic base dial indicator. Oh, yeah. Just going to put the blower on. So contact glue and some 515, and then we'll slip him on. So you can have the joyous task of watching. I'll just open that tube up a bit more. And the bolt holes aren't perfect, top and bottom, so it does only go one way. There's not much in there, there's a bit of a hollow as you can see, so there's only little edges where you can, where the blower will actually push against.
Stop it from sucking. Taking him without the shimmer for the first bit, you think?
Yeah, that's what I do, yeah. So just oil up the threads. There's two we're going to see in the middle, and I'll show you them in a minute. Hard washers as well. Don't use the soft ones. They're just buried in a case. He's a 45 foot-pound. Two in the middle need to be sealed. They go through into the camshaft pocket and leak oil. Why it's not.
These shoes are only not big enough to do.
Water pump will be next, so it goes in here, feeds into the block, and then I've got to dig up the tube and the rubbers, put them clamps in there. That'll make that all, and then I can put blower drive shaft in and spring pack. All right, so I'm going to dig some more bits up. Okay, so I've just put the back cover on. I'm just going to not thinking, forget the camera. Okay, I'll start with this one to start with. This is the compressor drive. These are a patched bolt. I'll take one back out in a second and show you. Got a shoulder on them. These are tightened to 40 foot-pound. These are a special bolt. You can't just put a normal bolt in here, they will shear, and your Jabsco drive will stop working, or your compressor, your power steering. They're a special shouldered bolt, as you can see, and they're undercut. So they've got plenty of oil on them. Put them back in there and do him back up. So those bolts will actually shear if you use just a normal everyday 3/8 UNF bolt, they'll snap. So these are a special bolt to take the side load. This is the tacho drive. There's a tacho drive in there. There's a little seal on the back side, which we replaced. So it just slips on, lines up. I'll get that one in a second. And then you've got this bolt here, which is 7/16 in the bottom. Now this hole goes all the way through to oil. So I normally get my tube off. White's not, 567. White's not the thread, so it doesn't try to wind up the thread. And wherever my glue went, the super big bastard tube, I need 50 hands here. Put a bit of my purple 515 just around under the washer there, under the washer here. So under the spring washer, under the head of the bolt, which I didn't show you. And then I always put some on the washer here, either here on the face of the plate, just to make sure I don't get a fucking leak. It's never a big leak, but it's just a little leak. And you usually see them on a Detroit running, running down the side here. It's just a shit leak that no one ever does anything with. So I usually do these up to 30 foot-pound, so it doesn't squash the gasket out. So 30 foot-pound doesn't, they're not as if they're holding any great weight, they're just holding a tin cast cover on, so. Just nip them all up. That way it also doesn't squeeze the gasket off. It pushed a little bit out, squeezed a bit of the goo out, and it seals up nicely. It's not fucking over squashed the gasket hanging out. I don't know how many engines over the years I've pulled apart, especially these back covers and flywheel housings, and they've just been done up with rattle guns or whatever, and they leak like a sieve because they squash the gasket out. So perfect. Now we've got this little cap, which we're not going to. Oh mate doesn't want to use the tacho drive, but he also he didn't want to use. Doesn't want to. He's not going to use the tacho drive at this point in time. He may do later on. So I said, well, just leave the drive in the cam. It's nothing to leave it there, and we'll put a cap on. It also will help make sure it doesn't leak any oil out. I'll just put it's got a low ring in the end, soft washer to help seal, and a bit of white snot just so it doesn't come off, and just to make sure there's no leak. Every leak's embarrassing. So next I can put on this is a Jabsco housing here that goes on adapter. Wherever. Hello Detroit. Yes, Mr. Detroit got poisoned by the local fishing man at Mooney, Chinese fisherman. Left some fishing line on the ground with a bit of bait on it. Old Detroit picked him up and swallowed him, and he's still got a fishing hook in his guts somewhere. Hasn't come out. Spent the So this is the Jabsco adapter I was about to explain before the thing died. They bolts under there, bolts on, same thing at the bottom. But look what someone's done. They've driven a bolt too long in there. So we'll have to make sure we seal that thread up so it doesn't take oil. It's not really going to stop anything, but we'll clean him up, and then we might zip over and get some more brown paint.